So I'm going to talk about the video the professor posted for us to watch about ornamentation on here in this video, and then also some of the lectures where we had to bring our own instruments, and then we practiced the concepts. So the video that she posted on, I thought it was pretty good. I like that the guy related being a composer and a performer, like sort of the same thing in the Baroque period, just like Haynes did in the textbook. And I also thought it was interesting that he talked about there being really no common practice for ornaments. Even though they can be grouped into different styles, it kind of just depends on what the composer wants to do with it. So that was interesting because I thought it was kind of like this is how every composer did it in this style. I also liked that he linked the textbook to it because seeing as this video wasn't very long, it was good that he kind of said, okay, now go off and sort of do your own learning or whatever. So I thought that was a pretty good video. So February 29th, we had a lecture on ornamentation. It was a kind of two-part lecture with March 2nd, and I thought that this was good because we learned all the different kinds of ornamentation, and I sadly have to say that I probably haven't been playing my trills properly. I mean, I didn't even realize there was such a variation in the way that you could play ornaments, or that even there was that many. But at the same time, I think that it was a bit too cluttered. There was too many that the professor introduced that day, so it's hard to get them straight in my head. But the good thing was that on March 2nd, we actually were able to hear them and how they were supposed to sound. And I will admit that when we were told to bring our instruments warmed up, I kind of thought to myself, well, this isn't a performance class, and I wasn't told I needed to have an instrument ready to be played. And so I thought that that was going to be a little bit intimidating, but it actually ended up being fine. The professor realized that, and it was really just Derek and Roberta that actually played, and it was good because then we all could listen to how they were supposed to sound. And I was also glad when the professor finally said that yes, you can have too many ornaments because it just seemed that there was just like every place possible you could put an ornament in, and then it would just kind of overtake the whole entire piece. So it's good when she said that they're more for enhancing the piece. And then also on March 16th, when we looked at phrasing, I thought this was good because the professor had lined it up so that you could see how the phrasing was different in each different period and how it, was longer and then gradually kind of got shorter and shorter. And I think Derek and Roberta did a good job of kind of illustrating this to us. And then the next day after that, we just touched a little bit on tempo, and I thought that it was strange when the professor said we shouldn't use a metronome because, or that we should use it and then put it away because I've always used a metronome, and I think that it's such a key tool in being able to play even and being able to not speed up and slow down in like harder and easier parts. Except for like in tempo rubato when you're obviously supposed to, but yeah, that was kind of, I guess I kind of disagreed with that just from personal experience. Um, so to relate it all kind of back to the cone of learning one more time, I think that from the lectures where we had to bring our instruments, I still remember actually about 50 to 60% of them, which is a big difference in just a straight lecture where I only remembered like 20 to 30% because I find that even just if you're not actually the one doing something, that examples make a big difference. Like even say in math, for instance, you can't learn a concept without doing a lot of examples, and then those examples are what you remember. So watching Roberta and Derek kind of play through the examples was really good because it helped the lecture stick in my head and the important ornaments that are used.